A couple things I wanted to go over real quick. And it kind of has to do with the fact that, like, we're getting a lot of franchisees. We're starting to get some traction right now. I want everyone to remember this, and this is that we are not anywhere close to where we want to be at. And we're not getting content at 25 franchisees. We're not even starting, and, like, and especially if you've been here for a while and you know, like, hey, this was always the goal, and we're a year into this, and, like, we're getting somewhere. We're not anywhere close. The goal is to change the industry. It's not to get 25 franchisees. And so the reason I say it is because, especially if you come to conference, especially if you're around here, you're like, hey, like, we're winning. Like, I'm very aware that we're winning the game right now, and what we've been working on for a long time is starting to come to fruition. And I know that there's a certain part of, like, hey, like, we got to step back and, like, realize that we're doing a great job, and we are, and I appreciate that, and I probably don't say that enough to all of us who work so hard. But on the flip side, like, we are, like, nowhere close to where we want to be at. And so when we go to conference and things, you're going to get a lot of praise. You're going to have people like, oh, you guys are doing so amazing. And that's fine. But, like, if we're going to be deaf to all of the criticisms, which we've played with for the past 5 years of having this massive goal, and people like, oh, it's never possible. You'll never get landscapers to change, whatever. And now we're starting to get some traction. If we're going to be deaf to all the criticism, we have to be deaf to all the praise. All right? And so, like, if you come to the conference and you see, especially between sessions, you'll see guys come up to me and they're, like, just heaping on the praise. And you'll notice I'm quiet, and I still thank you and stuff like that. But, like, in my mind, I'm like, we're not done. You got to keep telling yourself that, because otherwise you'll just be like, oh yeah, we're doing good. Like, time for a victory lap. Like, this is great. Like, we've won the game, and we're not even close. And this is, like, why college athletes, they do so good. They get the Heisman Trophy or whatever, and then they go into the pro sports and they just fall flat in their face, is because they've been told they're great their whole career, right? You guys, you're so talented, you're so amazing. They get to the college and they can't put in the work, they can't put in the extra effort. Austin's laughing.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. And then who was it? Johnny Manziel. Like, yeah. Those guys just flop, and it's because they're so.
Went to the Browns, and they both went to the Browns.
But a lot of it is, like, they're so talented, they're told their whole life that they're amazing, and then it comes to, like, the professional, like, they don't know how to, like, work ethic, they don't know how to push themselves, and we don't want to get there. And so I just encourage you, whether it be in business or here or whatever, is like, you want to be deaf to the criticisms and the praises of others, and know why you're doing something, and just stick to it, and realize where you're at in the process of getting there. Right? Like, early in the process, you're going to have a lot of resistance. You're going to have people saying you can't do it. They're going to say, oh, you're only going to be able to make dollars per hour. You're never going to be able to own your own business. You're never going to be able to be anything great. And your parents, your grandparents, you've never had an education. They're going to throw all that junk at you. And then you're going to flip at some point in your life, and you're going to have to switch to where now you tune out all the praise. All right? And so I've dealt with the 5 past years of the criticism, and now we're switching to the praise part, but, like, the same thing has to be in our mind, and, like, not comparing ourselves to other people. Like, when we drive down the street, we're not comparing ourselves to any of these other companies. Like, as an employee, as a business owner, like, nothing. Like, if you see other guys, like, slacking off, we're not comparing ourselves to them. Like, we're not trying to, their goals are not ours. Like, why would we compare? Like, oh, we're so much better. It's like, who cares? I don't compare myself, like, in terms of money or, like, how many employees or trucks or anything like that. Like, know why we're doing what we're doing, and we're striving towards that, and we're just deaf to everyone else's opinions about that. So I just encourage you, like, don't compare yourself to anyone else. Like, if you're like, oh, like, I'm a great worker here. Okay, well, we have a small sample set here. Like, go be great. Like, forget about this group of people or me. Like, supersede what I've done. Like, give to other people, your family. Like, you can do better than that. Like, stop comparing yourself. It limits what you can do in life. And so I think it's really, really damaging to compare yourself up or down the ladder. In other words, when I say down the ladder, I mean, like, oh, like, look at me, I'm so great, all those people down there. But it's also very toxic to look up the ladder and compare yourself to all these great people and be like, oh, I'll never be that. Like, just lock into what you're doing in life and know why you're doing it. Show up every single day to kick butt. Like, stop trying to think about what people above you are doing, like, oh, they're so amazing, like, I'll never be able to attain that. Or looking down, like, oh, I'm so much better than all these people. Like, you're just always going to go towards the average. Because if you're looking at the great, and you're like, oh, you're going to come down below them. If you're looking down, you're like, oh, I'm so much better. It'll prevent you from reaching your full potential. So, like, that was my sermon for the day that I thought over the weekend while I was running. Just don't compare, like, whether it be here, in your personal life, whatever, don't compare yourself to other people. And it's like, get deaf to their opinions. And then you'll wake up one day like, oh, I've accomplished something, and like I've got to where I want to go. But you got to be patient, and we're not anywhere close to where we want to be. So that's my 2 cents today. Anything anyone want to add to that?
I saw a quote that's like, it's along those lines. It says like, don't compare your planting season to someone else's harvest season. So like, you can't look at someone else's results they're getting right now and not realize where you are at your process of the grind, and then be like, man, they're doing so much better, but you don't see when they were in that exact same phase as you before. And so you just can't compare, like Mike was saying. But.
Cool. I noticed, Josh, you were so diligent about your mask, and now you don't have a mask on. Okay, thanks everyone. Have a great day. Appreciate it.